Hey everyone, welcome to the Depot. My name is Brad and welcome back to another build video. And as you may have noticed from like the first 3 frames of this video, that we are in the new town of Brindleton Bay that comes with cats and dogs. I'm assuming everyone's gonna like know about it by now, considering like pets as a general theme for The Sims has always been like a massive expansion. So yeah, just a heads up, this is a 36,000 simoleon starter home, if you couldn't really tell by the title anyway, and I do apologise for the lack of imagination when naming this build, but it's a starter home for my new Let's Play, so that's how that came to play, and it cost 36,000 simoleons. So, that's my name, and not my name, that's the name for the build, and like I said, sorry it's not imaginative or anything, or there's nothing fancy going on, but it kind of covers the basics and lets you know what it is. So, just a general bit of information about the house as a whole. It's a 1 bed, 1 bathroom, technically an ensuite, so I don't know if you... Yeah, 1 bathroom. And then the usual kitchen, live-in, dine-in. And if you have seen my 20k starter build, you will probably notice that it has a similar layout and kind of a shape with the central face of the house that sticks out. That it's very, very similar, but I have done a few changes throughout the layout as well, and of course it's a completely different aesthetic in terms of how the house is built and decoration-wise. I've decided to go for the look of Brindleton, which is very, very, like, I don't know, old, like traditional, I'd say, as well as very Hamptons-inspired, and you can kind of see that in the windows that have come with the pack and the windows that I use on this house, because I have to be completely honest, I absolutely love them. I think they are perfect, and I've been waiting for a window of this kind of a shape, because I mean we have literally about, okay, I didn't count them, but we have about 6 or 7 of the same window, and that's really, really, well, nice for me personally, because I've noticed that The Sims 4 rarely has windows that match each other or come in similar colors, even though they might look like they belong to the same family of windows. Is that the correct term to say, a family of windows? I don't know, the same kind of pattern. I don't know, so I'm just gonna leave that little point there. But anyway, so yeah, I am chuffed with everything that came with the pack. I do personally think that we could have had more wall paints, just because we only have, I think, 1 in the paint section. No, not paint. 1 in the wallpaper, and then 1 in the paneling, and then the rest is exteriors, if I'm not correct, because I haven't, like I said in my Let's Play, I haven't watched any reviews on cats and dogs. I simply just bought it because, for me, cats and dogs, or well, in general, like the pets theme in The Sims has always been like just an obvious choice for me, because, like I did say, pets are like an everyday aspect of life, so it kind of makes sense for me to like want to include that in the game, and I haven't been disappointed this time around, except for the wall paints. But as far as I'm concerned, like I mentioned, the windows have more than made up for it, and especially the French doors that match the windows, because I've done a few builds where those would have come in very, very handy. Unfortunately, it got released in November, so those builds had to suffer, and I think you may be able to tell which one I'm on about, which is my executive family mansion, because it needed French doors, and we didn't have them. And considering French doors are like a staple, there they are a staple of, like, I don't know, houses in general, that it kind of is a bit silly to pass them over. But see, like, I've got 2 different kinds of windows on this house, so I mentioned 7, and I only used 3, sorry, but I still think it works out, and I did use the Parenthood windows for that little triangular like bay window at the front, just because I haven't used them in a build yet and I really, really wanted to, and because these windows are under a porch, if you will, that it's not, the roof doesn't cut into them the way it does in every other way I've tried to work them into houses. So I was very, very happy to be able to include them finally, and I think they do kind of go with the cats and dogs windows. I mean, not perfectly, but by no means do they stick out like a sore thumb, considering they're the same colour, and they follow that like square theme, cottagey, if you will. So, like I said, it's kind of prevalent how bad I've mimicked the house, but my 20k starter build was actually a 2-bed. This is a 1-bed because this was specifically kind of designed for my Let's Play, so it's not necessarily perfect. Oh, just a heads up about these curtains. They aren't in the gallery version because they stop the door from working. And the back door doesn't work with those curtains on, but I'm willing, personally, to sacrifice that for decoration. That's not a word. For decoration purposes, just because it kind of needs one right there. Oh, and this is the floor I wanted to mention, just because I absolutely love every single, like, swatch it comes in. It's the kind of wood that I've been waiting for, like a washed wood that would have looked absolutely perfect in my British cottage, in the grey it comes in. But whatevs. I feel like this happens with every pack that comes out. I always regret building certain houses before they come out, just because, you know, a lot of the stuff that they do release with new packs would have looked great in certain houses that I have built and would look better than what I have put there. So yes, and just a heads up, I know this is, well, I called it like a cats and dogs in brackets, but that's just because like I've used a lot of the stuff that came with cats and dogs. I know you're gonna like obviously notice that there's a few things that haven't, and that's just because, you know, cats and dogs is a pack, not like a whole house worth of stuff. But I did try and incorporate the new items as much as I possibly could in terms of like rugs and furniture and stuff. But I do actually use the Parenthood kitchen just because I felt like it fit best with the kind of general theme of the house, if you will. I mean, that doesn't make any sense considering I placed everything to kind of look mismatched, if you will, because I like to start my sim families off and then like as they grow in terms of like money and like size, I don't know, like extend the house and then put nicer things in and redo certain rooms, just because like I get a more of a sense of like achievement. And I know that sounds really sad that I get like personal achievement from like certain things I do in games, but I do, so I don't really care. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, this is obviously I'm using the new cats and dogs side table and the new bench as a sofa. I know some of you might disagree with that, but whatevs. And then the table, the rug, have I mentioned the rug? Basically, the whole living room there is all cats and dogs. And I do love the new like little light that comes with it that's like kind of stained glassy. It's not my taste, but I think you can work that into a lot of different builds. If you did like an old people's room or like a traditional, sorry if you love traditional like decor and I keep saying it's for old people. I don't mean that. It's just that in general, I find that older people do prefer a traditional one, whereas more younger people prefer a modern look. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm not saying everyone, just, you know, in general, in my experience. So yeah, also because it's a double story living room, dining room, I kind of found difficulty in lighting it up, so that's why those like wall lights have been put there. So feel free to delete them, but just a heads up, your Sims will not be able to see where they are going. So, yes. And also this is kind of underdressed on one side, preferably like the mirrored side of this I'm on about, honestly. But other than that, it's kind of dressed up as much as you can. And I did it double story so that if you wanted to put like a maisonette floor in, so you could add like a second-ish bedroom or a study area above, feel free to do that, because I think that's what I intend to do in my Let's Play when they have enough money. But, sorry, anyway, yeah. And obviously using the new lights in Cats and Dogs, the downlight ones, you know, the hanging ones. There they are, just because I wanted to have like a really grand look. But unfortunately, light does not travel down 2 levels. And I don't know why. It didn't happen in The Sims 3. I was kind of hoping it would happen in The Sims 4. Surely it's just like an update that you can do and it'll travel down. It makes sense to me anyway, and it would have literally stopped me from using more lights, but alas, no. Game mechanics I don't think can be changed. I'm not sure. So here we have the kitchen off of the living room. I kind of wanted the house to flow, and considering it's such a small house, that was a very, very easy thing to do. So I do apologize for my lack of, like I said, imagination in terms of the build and the name. Sorry. But, yeah, so just a starter kitchen, obviously really, really cheap appliances. The cheapest you can buy. Obviously new, not the used ones, because, I don't know, I figured I used the used ones in my Legacy Challenge so far, so I'd rather just keep this one minimally, a little bit newer, I suppose. Fresher, if you will, just because I think my new Sims deserve it, and it's perfect if you have 36k to start to start the game with. So obviously, if you are using this as a start at home, I think you'll have to use cheats, just to give yourself that extra, like, 16 grand. But don't worry, because I did it, and I don't feel too bad about that, even though I genuinely don't like playing with cheats, just like I said, because when my Sims have enough money, I'm like, haha, they went to work to get that. I didn't just type in a cheat, even though, no knock, because it's fun sometimes to play rich from the get-go. Anyway, just cluttering up the island, obviously, but I did leave one worktop just clear, free, so that your Sims won't, like, you know, clash with the clutter items, even though when I did play this house, Kim really, really annoyed me just because she did use the cluttered one, not the free one, which kind of made no sense to me, so, yeah. And then using the new thing that came with Cats and Dogs, like a decoration, kind of a shelf just with, like, you know, knickknacks here and there because I kind of think it fit with the overall theme of the house. Yeah, there I go, using the word theme, even though it's not really a theme I thought of. It was just the original, the theme to the pack in general, I guess you could say. So here we are with the master bedroom, the only bedroom in the house. So hopefully it's a small family. Obviously an ensuite off to the right, just in case you were wondering what that little nook was, because we haven't done a bathroom yet. So I chose a blue because this plot in Brindleton is very, very close to the sea, and I figured the new bed came in that colour with the, like, the oak. Is that oak? No, it's not oak. It's more of a pine. Oh, it's not. It's like a washed pine. I don't know. I don't know that many words. Leave me alone. Anyway, I just thought it was a nice bed, so I decided to go with the blue. And the new dressing table, end dresser, I don't know, because I don't have a dresser. I have a wardrobe, so I don't really know the name. Sorry, but I think it looks really, really nice, and it's a nice shape as well. It's nice when they do change things up, because if, you know, Sims 4, I will give it to them. Everything they've given us has always been different shapes, different sizes, which can be kind of annoying when you get used to, like, specifically planning out a house to have a specific dresser in and then it doesn't work out. But thankfully this one did, and I do love this bedroom, I've got to be honest. So the dog bed's in here as well. The dog bed's in here just because, you know, I figured let the dog sleep inside, even though I think they have to in Cats and Dogs. So we don't have dog houses this time around, which I'm not too sad about, because in The Sims 3 I used to buy them and put them in the garden, but my dogs and my cats always used to sleep inside because I felt cruel, so there's that. Obviously just placing a mirror off to the corner to fill out the room, plus I think it obviously brings a little bit of light in, even though it's not needed, because I severely underestimated the brightness that the light I put in now, I think I do it. Yeah, it's a very bright light, genuinely. I was just like, okay, wow. Didn't need the mirror. But anyway, it's fine, don't worry. Moving on to the ensuite, here we have, it's kind of my cheapest one I think I've ever done, and I really, really do love it because it's the first time that I've used the mosaic tiles, and I decided to, like, take it up there with a feature wall. And then, even though it kind of makes no sense that I put the shower on the non-tiled part of the bedroom, the ensuite, but that's just because the room itself is small, and I think it's the kind of smallest size ensuite / bathroom you can kind of do is like a 3x2, but whatevs. But it does work. Everything's play tested in terms of playing. That didn't make any sense, except I do move the pet bowl in the kitchen because it didn't work, sadly. I don't know why, even though pathfinding is very, very good in The Sims 4. So obviously decorating it, cluttering it up with just the grey towel rail next to the mirror, and I chose that mirror just because it was a bit different, and I figured, well, why not? And then minimally lighting the bathroom, because I've kind of fallen in love with not having that bright of a bathroom anymore. Like, I don't know why that is, but feel free to change it if you want it to be a little bit brighter in there. But unfortunately, guys, we are coming to the end of the video, so I just want to take this time to say a major, major thank you to anyone who's watched this video. I really, really hope you've enjoyed, and if you have, maybe give it a like, and possibly, hopefully, subscribe to the channel. I would be ever so grateful. And if you would like to download the house, it will be on the gallery under my name, The Sim Depot. And if you want to check out my Cats and Dogs Let's Play, that will be in the description below. But until next time, guys, thank you and goodbye.